Oh my god. How about this Thanksgiving we aren't turned on by turkeys? Whoa. His what around your what? Hello creeps. Anna here, and happy almost Thanksgiving to any of you Americans watching. Today we have an interesting video. We're going to be reading, okay, it all started with this. Somebody sent me an extreme turkey dinner, an extreme horror book. And I thought, okay, if you guys want an extreme horror / smut Thanksgiving video, let me know. And a few of you said that you did want it. So if you don't want this video, you can blame those few people that left a comment saying this is the video that they wanted. So here are the books that we're reading today. We have An Extreme Turkey Dinner by C. Commissar. Okay. All right. Okay. We have Fleshgiving, a splatterpunk Thanksgiving story by this writer. I'll say this person's name later on in the video, but you know, the first few minutes are very touchy. So we have this book. I know it's really hard to tell because it's so dark. And then for our smutty smut books, what have we got on the roster for today? Oh, I did get some Christmas extreme horror stuff too. So let me know if you guys want a Christmas extreme horror reading thing. Man, I should have opened these before. Okay, hold on. Let me open them on this app. Okay, so I got Bisexually Stuffed by an Orgy of Sentient Thanksgiving Foods by Chuck Tingle. And we also have Stuffed by the Were Turkey by Tate McKirk. So we've got a variety of different books to celebrate this Thanksgiving season. And yeah, we're just gonna start. I also created this bingo board for, it's called Extreme Horror Bingo. And we're gonna try to see if we get a bingo reading these extreme horror books. So we got a lot going on. It's gonna be an interesting video. Let's just jump right in and start reading. We're gonna start with what started this all. So we're gonna start with An Extreme Turkey Dinner by C. Commissar. Really, it just says, if this story is similar to your Thanksgiving dinner, I apologize. I promise I made it all up. None of this is true. So that's about it. I don't think there's really any like warning or anything on here. It just says that it's a bloody horror story. There are scenes of violence, not for children, and then it's fiction. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first spot. Hold on, let me grab a pen so I can mark the board. First, we have our free spot, which I wrote bingo in the middle, and then I realized that was supposed to be free spot. And we have our first option, which is right here, eyeball removal. Not all of these on the board are for extreme horror. There's definitely some just like horror stuff in there too, but it is what it is. Anyways, she ends up taking out her husband's eye with a like little pronged fork thing. So cool. I'm excited to see if we get bingo. Got another one for the board. I know I put it on here somewhere. We have a traumatic backstory. Yeah, we're getting close already. I can feel it. We're gonna win bingo. So basically, with this story, we have a woman named Angie. She offs her husband in like the first few pages of the story and is inviting her family over for Thanksgiving. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be a joyous occasion after all. She ends up drugging her family and tying them up to like into their chairs that they're sitting at. And then we have some backstory where it seems like she has lost a child. So we do have this quote. Since she had never held anyone hostage before, Angie didn't know what the protocol was for this moment. But anyways, right now she is, I think, gonna cut her sister's toes off. Let's see. So she's cutting her toes with toenail clippers, which would hurt, but there are better ways to off someone. Basically, she is blaming her family for losing her daughter. Don't quite know the story just yet, but right now she's cutting her toes because she says that Angie was the one that had to take care of their mom when her sister Faith kind of put all the responsibility onto her. So she said, you know how difficult it is to cut someone's toenails, and then started cutting off her toes with toenail clippers. So showing her the pain that she experienced by taking care of her sick mother by torturing her family members. Hello, kitty. You gonna read some extreme horror with me? Started boiling and pooping bubbles. I think she meant popping bubbles. Now she is taking the leftover like oil and grease that the turkey cooked in, and she boiled it, and I think she's gonna pour it on her sister as well, because she also had to bathe her mom. So the torture is kind of metaphorical. Oh, interesting. She poured the little turkey baster thing of boiling grease into her sister's ear. That is something that I did not put on the list. Yeah, that would suck. That would suck. That would suck. So I'm pretty sure this constitutes as torture, which I'm gonna mark off on my board. She's, you know, poured the hot oil on. She took out, oh, I got something in my eye. She took out a hammer and hammered someone's hands to their chair. There's also some eyeball stuff in there. So I think it constitutes as torture. Anyways, let's get back to reading. Angie wedged the cold metal between his eyelids and started sawing on his eyeball. A mixture of milky substance and blood ran down his cheek. A lot of eyeball stuff. Oh my god. I forgot you were up there. I forgot you were up there. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was the scariest part of this whole book. Oh my gosh, you just gave me a heart attack. Oh gosh. Sometimes she goes on the very top of my bookshelf and I forgot that she was up there. That was terrifying. Okay. Anyways, she sewed her uncle's eyes shut and, you know, her brother a few times. Offed him. I like how in the beginning she was like, if this story is similar to your Thanksgiving dinner, like people around Thanksgiving just hammer their family's arms to the table and sew their eyes shut. Let's take a look at our bingo board and see if we've gotten anything else though. Don't think we have any teeth falling out, family issues. Definitely got that one. There's a lot of things that I actually didn't include in here, like the ear thing and eyes being sewn shut. I'm a little bummed. I'm a little bummed. Oh, and we also have this guy. I think that's it for now. So far we're pretty close to some bingos. We just need like 2 more of a few things, so let's see. Cut off the tip of her aunt's nose with pruning shears. Okay, because she's nosy. So I like that her reasoning for doing some of this stuff is related to like some traumatic experience that she's had in the past, or like here she cut off her nose because she's nosy. I like that. It would be cool if that were carried on through all of the characters. The brother, she was like, oh, you're a photographer, so I'm going to take out your eyes so you can't see pictures anymore, you know? So it would be cool if they were all like this. Ah, she was using the shears on her gums, her aunt's gums. Ow. Oh, don't do that. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. It says she put the ear that she cut off into her aunt's mouth, and then she's like, oh, you can't chew them without your dentures, and so the aunt spits out her own ear. Not a sentence I thought I'd say today. And then our host Angie picks up the dentures and like pretends like she's eating the ear with the dentures. It's kind of funny in a fucked up kind of way. Oh no, it appears the meal is ready. Let's take bets on cannibalism. Okay, we got a turkey. Okay. Casseroles, vegetables, 2 different types of potatoes. Dang, Angie, she's going all out. I thought she'd at least feed him some human or something. Meat tenderizer. Interesting. Oh, we've got another one, ladies and gents. This one right here. Hello, kitty. Do you like extreme horror? Yeah, you do. You love murder. Admit it. So sweet. Oh, did you get a purr monster today? How am I supposed to read when you're being so cute and fluffy? Bruh. Leave any suggestions of any future extreme horror bingo ideas that I didn't put on my list down below so I can make a new one. Maybe we could do this again because, oh gosh, she's gonna scare me again and she jumps down. But I would like to do another extreme horror bingo. I'm having fun. Gosh, stop doing that. Okay, so for this one, let's see. Morella, just beating up the dog. There were a few Thanksgiving things in here, and obviously it was the reason why the family met. She used a few tools that you use at Thanksgiving, like the turkey baster and a meat tenderizer, although that's not specifically for Thanksgiving, and like a serving knife and prongs and stuff. But other than that, it could have been Christmas dinner. It could have been, you know what I mean? It could have been any other time besides the daughter drawing a turkey. So it would have been cool to incorporate a little bit more of that Thanksgiving, whether it was having the dinner be part of the torture or having it revolve more around the holiday, something, you know? That would have been cool. I did like how some of the torture was directly related to either what our main character Angie saw as flaws in the characters or punishment for her own experiences that she suffered at the hands of other people, or so she says. Other than that, definitely some spelling errors, grammatical errors, stuff like that. That kind of stuff doesn't necessarily bother me. I mean, I find that stuff in big publishing company books, right? So it's not like I don't find one error in a book and go, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But if it continually happens, you know, it would be nice to revisit and like fix these things up. I do think that it's cool that we have the internet and people are able to share their own stories online and they don't have to have major publishing companies behind them and things like that. So there's definitely something for everyone. I would rate this like a 3 out of 5. It's definitely what you would expect from an extreme turkey dinner, but it wasn't, I feel like, as extreme as the other book that I read from her. That one got pretty freaking gnarly, and this one wasn't too bad. I'm definitely not shocked or disgusted. So, yeah, this is how our bingo card's looking so far. We've got a few spots to fill and only one extreme horror book left, so I'm not sure if we're gonna get bingo. But yeah, there's that one. Let's move on to some smut, and then we're gonna do Fleshgiving after that. Okay, who's ready to get bisexually stuffed by an orgy of sentient Thanksgiving Day foods? Let's read this Chuck Tingle beauty together. Okay, this is the second book that I've read from Chuck Tingle where they're at a milk cafe. What the fuck does that mean? Okay. So there's a man named Trebo, and he's talking to his friend Greg in a milk cafe, and he's explaining that he's upset that his family's not getting together for Thanksgiving. Greg gives him an alternative on what to do for Thanksgiving, and he says, "Have you ever heard of Poundsgiving?" I shake my head. What's that? It's a place where people get together on the 4th Thursday of November and pound. Okay, so he's walking up to this cute little house and he smells a whiff of garlic mashed potatoes and herby stuffing, the sweet and delicious cranberry sauce, and of course a moist turkey. Based on what's in store, I'm a little shocked that they have this kind of food at all. I've never been to an orgy before. Oh gosh, these books, they delight me. Floating in the air is a beautiful plate of steaming buttery mashed potatoes. That's who answers the door. He says, "Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I thought I was at the wrong house." The mashed potatoes face drops again. Why? Because food can't fuck? The scene is filled with several delicious portions of happily chatting living food. These sentient dishes hovering above each chair and make their way around a large central table. Everything you can hope for is here. Corn, bread, green bean stuffing, cranberry sauce. The only thing missing is the turkey, which has been replaced by a similar looking loaf of tofu. Everyone is startlingly attractive, not just as plates of food, but as erotic partners? Excuse me? The second he says, let's get started, the feast springs into action, each item pairing off in a wild eruption of carnal lust. And he's kissing the, I think it's the stuffing? He tastes incredible. A savory herb-flavored stuffing that immediately reminds me of the things I love about this holiday. Oh, he has hands too. Our hands roaming excitingly across each other's forms. I take note of his exceptionally crafted dish. Running my hands across the smooth surface of a semi-rectangular bowl. An aching member that yearns for his savory touch. Whoa! His what around your what? My lips meeting with those beautiful corn cob. I wish I could read this online, but I don't think I can. He says, I could probably be done with this stuff right now, but deep down in my heart, I know that is not what Poundsgiving is all about. I'm also here to give, not just receive. I wish I could tell you what was happening. He is performing acts on the stuffing, and he's doing that while his mouth works the corn cob. I'm eating out the vegetables. Slipping the living food's massive all the way into my... No, I can't read that. I can't read that. Eventually, my face is pressed up against his herb-encrusted abs, savoring the delicious treat that tickles my taste buds, just as well as it tickles the back of my throat. The tofurkey has... Okay. Alright. This is some American Pie stuff going on here. Swollen members and cranberry sauce, they're just two things that I didn't think would ever happen in the same sentence, you know? Chuck Tingle just never ceases to amaze me. Oh no! What? The cranberry sauce. The cranberry sauce fills me up, stuffed to the brim by his mighty member. Oh gosh, these books, I really do, like, I'm not a big fan of erotic literature, but I love Chuck Tingle books. They're so funny. It's proof that there's no wrong way to spend the holiday, especially if you can muster up a little gratitude. What a wonderful sentiment behind an erotic tale of sentient foods. My existence alone is almost impossible to quantify, yet here I am. I'm thankful for that too. Oh, that's actually really beautiful. Oh. Oh. And gags me in a glorious moment of vegetable domination. Okay. Blasting a massive payload of his cranberry up. It says, when I arrived here earlier, I was looking for a way to pass the time on the night of this annual tradition, a simple bit of company and not much else. What I found, however, was an important lesson. Old traditions are important, but starting a new tradition can be as equally fulfilling. This may have been my first Poundsgiving, but it certainly won't be my last. Round of applause for Mr. Chuck Tingle. He's done it again. Then there's another book. He usually has two little short stories in one. This is Bisexually Banged by the Absurd Volume of Chuck Tingle's Literary Catalog. Again, we'll save that one for another day. Oh gosh, how can we beat that? I don't know if Stuffed by the Were Turkey is gonna beat that one. But let's head on over to this guy. And yeah, let's just jump on in. So she's by a turkey farm and she's like picketing, saying people shouldn't kill turkeys and eat them for Thanksgiving because she's a vegan. And then she caught a turkey on the farmer's land and then just ran with it. I have a feeling this might be a were turkey. She locks him in the bathroom. She hears something. She's like, oh, he spilt my shampoo. So she starts cleaning it up, and it says the bird bumped harder into her from behind, pushing her against the bathtub. Her short skirt rode up, his feathers pressed against her, and then a hand grabs her from behind. And And she screams, "Who is that? What is happening?" And there was a naked man, apparently, because it says the man was hung. I like how you would think there's an intruder in your in your house, and the first thing you think is, the man was hung, I'd give him that. He had feathers instead of hair, and he had no nipples and no belly button. Oh, the man's head was all wrong. He had a turkey's head. So he had a fat dong and a turkey head? She felt mesmerized by those beady black eyes. Oh, he's just going straight for it, rips her shirt off. Her creamy tits. Why are they creamy? He had bumps and nubs all over his... That seems like an issue. Okay, not a word spoken between them. He fell over with a startled gobble. I just don't think turkeys turn me on, you know? There was something almost attractive about the creature. No, he has a turkey head. How about this Thanksgiving we aren't turned on by turkeys? Not caring anymore that the strange man bird was going to stuff her full of his meat. The size of a Coke can. Ew. No. Mm-mm. No. No. Ow. Oh my god. He threw her on the table on top of the plates of mashed potatoes, and it says her... I really can't even read this. Her own juices dribbled down her leg to coat them like some sort of taboo gravy. I can't read 90% of this. Oh, come on. Unfazed by the strangeness of his bird-like head? That does not bother you? His beady little turkey eyes don't bother you? His little fucking gobbler thing does not bother you? With a like that, who could care for very long? I think I need seconds, she said to the creature. And then her vegan friends are mad at her because they went over to her house. They were supposed to have a vegan Thanksgiving, but her friend says, when we got here, we heard you inside yelling about how much you loved meat and you wanted more. Well, she had been full of it last night, and if it meant not being part of a group anymore, she would gladly take her avian lover any day. Happy Turkey Day. What a weird way to celebrate Thanksgiving. I am just... There are a lot of these books where these items become sentient, right? And they're like silly and funny, and like, you know, people who like smut can enjoy them as well, but then they're fun to read too. But these ones, like the ones where they're just animals and there's no conversing between them, really just freak me out and are not for me. It's fine if they're for you. And it's well written. It's not a terribly written story or anything. And obviously, you know, no shame in what you like to read. But I'm just saying, I prefer the funnier ones where they're like sentient beings and not just, yeah, a man with a large dong and a turkey head. So Stuffed by the Were-Turkey, very interesting. I have a lot of questions, you know? Are they going to remain romantic partners? Did the Were-Turkey just up and leave? Did he just hit it and quit it? What's going on? I need a little bit more. Wanted to read that one, so here we are now. I think I'm gonna take a little break before we get back into the extreme horror. So I need a second to digest what I just read, okay? And then we'll meet back here. I'll meet back here in a little bit. All right, I'm back. I've made a hot chocolate. I've got my bingo card. I am officially ready to read Fleshgiving, a splatterpunk Thanksgiving story. This is by Lady Gorehor, which is yeah, cool name to use when writing. It says this quote in the front: "I believe death should be repulsive so we don't grow too fond of it." Really like that. There's some warnings in here, all sorts of stuff. Let's get started, shall we? Ooh, do we already have another bingo card? I think we do. We've got some teeth falling out. It says they brought down the 5-speed mixer and that she had used for the pumpkin puree and lowered it to her wounded abdomen. It penetrated her abdomen, causing her innards to beat together into a creamy substance. Human pie. He used a ladle to scoop out the morbid remains into a crust that were laid out on the counter. Got some human pies. There's nothing more Thanksgiving than some human... Does that count as cannibalism? I don't think anybody eats them yet, so we'll see. We'll hold that off. Okay, so far there's a family. There's a woman named Audrina, I think is her name. She has a husband and 2 kids, and her family is coming over for Thanksgiving, kind of like change of plans, last minute. They're all kind of annoying and rude. She's got a mom and dad and brothers and sisters and stuff, and in-laws and nephews and nieces that are coming over for this Thanksgiving day. There was a woman who was off in the beginning of the novel, and then when Audrina goes to the store, she went to grab the last turkey and someone else had their hands on it. She stole it away from them. They glared at her. Presumably, I'm assuming that's the person that's going to come ruin her Thanksgiving by everybody. But we'll see. We have our first offing scene here. This assailant has taken off someone's skull and then used it as an ashtray, which is pretty funny. And you know what? I think that so far that counts as a pretty creative kill. So I'm gonna put off the creative kill in here. I mean, human pie pumpkins and using a skull as an ashtray. We only need a few. Oh, you know what? There was also an animal death in here as well. The little son collects bugs or like little critters and puts them in a box with a black widow, and then sees who like wins, and the Black Widow has offed quite a few creatures. We're getting pretty close, although I don't know if we're gonna actually get there because the few that I have remaining, I'm not sure if we're gonna hit, to be honest. Like, I don't know if this book is gonna really gross me out because so far hasn't grossed me out yet. So let's get back to reading. You know, I'm gonna read and then I'll catch you back up when something happens. Okay, it's like I said about the family that kind of shows up last minute to have Thanksgiving at this woman Audrina's house, and they're all kind of a-holes. They're just like, hey, when's food gonna be ready? But nobody's helping her do anything, and they're all just kind of rude to her. And then she has a daughter, and her son is like a little bit weird, and he likes to make his nose bleed and put it in his chocolate milk and drink it, which reminds me that is another... Oh, hold on, I got it. Can I get this? Ma'am? 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 I missed out on this one, which is consuming bodily fluid since he drank his own blood. And then I feel like... Oh, this one. Holding people against their will. That happened in the last book. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, none of that, 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 none of that. Okay. We're getting pretty close. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get here though. Like, I don't know if it's getting this dark. Oh, and there are like horror, you know, I'm gonna cross off horror tropes in here because there's like a big snowstorm and nobody can leave kind of thing in this one as well. So her family shows up. They're all kind of a-holes. Here's the thing. This, like I said before with this one, I think it's so cool that people can just write and post things online and gain an audience from it. I think that's great. And like I said with this one too, with the grammatical errors and spelling errors and stuff, there's quite a bit in this one as well. It's also confusing at times trying to figure out who's speaking. And then also sometimes logistically, it's quite confusing. Like there was one scene where one of the brothers and a brother and a sister, they're like downstairs listening to a baby scream upstairs. But then he went downstairs after that. So I'm like, are they on, or is it a 3rd level story house, or they're just logistically confusing things in there. Sometimes I wasn't sure if everybody was in the same room, if they were in different rooms, things like that. So, you know, things like that could be, I feel like, a little bit more clear for the reader. But yeah, other than that, pretty interesting so far. Nothing too awful, too bad. But we did just get to a point where one of the sisters, her baby's missing. So I thought, oh, maybe. So let's see what happens. Oh, the figure had a head like a turkey. So he was wearing like a turkey mask. That's kind of cool. Baby was in a blender. Ladies and gentlemen, no freaking way. I think we got it. Oh, and that, my friends, is an extreme horror bingo. Bingo, bitch! I'm so excited. Okay, so it said that he lathered his fingers in the liquefied mess, what was left inside the blender, sliding his salivating tongue around it to taste. Unsatisfied, he licked the smiling baby, there were 2 babies, and started forcing and shoving her inside the blender. Oh, yeah, that's pretty gross. Oh, okay, that was definitely the grossest scene thus far. So I think I'm just gonna read a little bit more and get back to you. I'm glad we got the bingo out of the way though. That's pretty cool. And then, yeah, we'll reconvene in a little bit. I'll let you know any of the other details. And if there's, I mean, there's not gonna be anything grosser than the blender scene. There can't be. Okay, can I get up for just 1 second, Kitty? Oh, don't be sad. I'll be right back. I have officially finished Fleshgiving. And there were actually a few more things on our board that we didn't get to. We got this one and some decap happening. We did have a hopeless ending. And I think that's it. So that's how our extreme horror bingo board's looking. That was really fun actually. I really liked that. And I kind of want to do this with just like horror tropes. I would like to do that with more extreme horror stuff. I'd like to do that with, what's happening up here? I'd like to do that with Christmas horror books because I just want to read Christmas horror all month. But anyways, back to Fleshgiving. Okay, let's see. So there were some things that I did really like about this book. You know, pulling out of intestines. Oh, using a potato peeler to rip flesh from somebody. That was fun. I won't give everything away, but the mask ended up being interesting. And I liked the fact that he wore a Thanksgiving mask and it felt a little bit more Thanksgiving related than the previous book. You know, that one could have kind of taken place anywhere, but this we had a killer. And really his whole reasoning for just like torturing and tormenting this entire family was because she stole his turkey. So I thought that was just like a really funny reason for this whole novel. Oh, he did force the mom to eat the spoonfuls of the baby soup. So there were some interesting things in here for sure. Definitely some interesting kills. Also some things that just like kind of didn't make any sense at all. There was one scene where the killer was in a snowman. The kid's like, how did they make such a detailed snowman? So it wasn't like he was just in a pile of snow. You know what I mean? So you could see the outline of his mask and everything. I'm like, okay, well, he couldn't have done that himself. So there were definitely a few silly kills, like, don't get me wrong, but otherwise some bloody stuff in here. However, logistically, like I said before, a lot of the scenes confused me. The characters weren't that well developed, to be honest. Like, they all could have been the same character. There were some weird, like a few weird comments from the characters that I was like, why was that in there? And yeah, no real defining characters, nobody that you were like rooting for really. You know, depending on how you're reading a book, sometimes you want the audience to be fighting for the people to survive, and sometimes you want them all to be horrible. But the characters here were just kind of in between. Like, don't get me wrong, there were people that were annoying and rude and stuff. They all just kind of blended into the same person, it felt like. The end of the book, it says that the writer's kind of just starting out on her journey on writing. So, like, I condone anybody who's gonna write a book and publish it, you know? So, I condone? Wait, does that mean that I'm for them or against them? I condone it. Yeah, no, I'm for that. Sorry, I've been reading a lot today, so my brain kind of feels like it's going to melt. Oh, and also the gore was really like the last maybe this much of the book. So the 2/3 of it I would say is just kind of normal reading, and then the last half, it was quite bloody. And there was a scene where the killer did get one of the kids and he's like around the table with all the dead family members and he forces it to eat them. Oh, cannibalism, that's one that I missed from the list. Yeah, there was definitely some interesting scenes in here. It did feel a little bit more Thanksgiving than this one, but I did rate this one. I'm gonna give it like a 2.7. And then this one I gave a 3. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if I should make a December, if you want December smut video, if you want December extreme horror video, or if you want a December mixture of both video, let me know. And also let me know how you felt about the bingo thing, because that was really fun. And even if I just do that by myself, if you guys don't like it, that's fine. I'll just do it for fun on my own because I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you think about were turkeys, sentient Thanksgiving Day foods, and turkey wearing bandits that like to torture people for stealing a turkey at the grocery store. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another horror video, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Bye guys!
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.